I rise to thank the governor. He's taking some very decisive actions. And you know, he's got a lot of information, a lot of data that the rest of us and other Minnesotans don't have. And I know he's coming to what he thinks is the best decision for our state on a daily basis as he manages us through this crisis. And I can only imagine how lonely it must be sometimes. So having said that, I'd like to thank his wife, Gwen, for the support that she's giving him as he tries to navigate our state through this very difficult time. I want to add a word to caution to all of us to be careful with some of the armchair quarterbacking that we're doing. There'll be plenty of time to critique the governor's actions when we all look back at this someday in hindsight. You know, this today reminds me of probably one of the fundamental reasons that we have government. It's so that we can pool our resources and do things for our community and for ourselves that we can't do on our own. So having said that, I want to thank all Minnesotans, because it's very easy for us to sit here and push a green button and spend $330 million today. And unlike the federal government, who can just borrow the money, not a very tough vote when you just borrow the money, and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren and probably the great-great-grandchildren someday will pay it back with interest. But the votes here today, this bill is paid for. This bill is paid for by Minnesotans when they make a purchase and pay sales tax, on their income tax, on their earnings, on their dividends, our businesses, on all the business taxes that we have. So to everybody who is participating, we all can feel good because we get to push a green vote, but we get to push a green vote because of all the people out there are pooling our money so that we can get through times like this. And finally, let me say, we don't have our arms around this problem yet. So those of you that are watching, please take the recommendations of the Department of Health seriously. And I know we're all going to slip up. Some of us probably slipped up on the floor here today and we're maybe closer to 6 feet to somebody. But let's all do our best to distance ourselves from others so that we can get through this and see the number of cases subside, so that someday we can come back here with a full chamber of 67 people, and we won't someday be back here appropriating more money to deal with this crisis that just exponentially keeps growing. So that's my number one thing I think today, just to all Minnesotans, please pay attention to the Department of Health's recommendations so that we get our arms around this problem.